All right, here we go. Vision Realty Group, Austin, Texas. My name is Paulie Campanaro, owner of the Vision Realty Group. Today I'm with Josh Hanley, a lender here in Austin, Texas, and a trusted advisor. I'm excited to have Josh today because we're going to talk about what's been going on with the market and timing, whether you should buy right now, tools, tips and tricks and advantages to be able to find out whether this is the right time for you and what you should do. So thank you, Josh, for joining today.
Definitely. Thank you for having me. Josh Hanley again here with Guaranteed Rate, about 20 plus years experience. 10 years here in the Austin market, so definitely seen a lot of things change over time.
And you know, I've been in the business almost 20 years myself, and I think that's just on a super quick side note on who you're talking to and to make sure you know who you're talking to, because there's a lot of people that have not been in the business that long, and unfortunately some people that won't be in the business much longer because of what's been happening. Okay, so let's talk a little bit on what's been happening with the market. So since the peak of the market in May, the Travis County has lost 13.5% of value since the peak of the market in May.
Wow.
Williamson County has lost 7% total since the peak of the market in May. And so in that time frame, while values have been coming down, interest rates have been
Going up
Steadily.
steadily.
Give me a snapshot as far as since the beginning of the year or since May, or I mean, what?
Well, there's been a lot of volatility, and lately we've seen a lot of big increases with the Federal Reserve making these moves to try to curb inflation and basically slow down buying, slow down consumer activity, which is what has been effective. It's been working, as we can see.
The intended effect is occurring.
Exactly, correct. And I mean, earlier this year, I mean, we were still in the 4% range, give or take, and now we're upwards of 6.5, 6.625 on average today on a 30-year fix. Conforming, good credit. Last week we were up about 7%, so we did see a little bit of a correction this week. Things did come back down, but now we're starting to see that volatility come back, and we're headed back towards 7% again.
You know, one thing that, besides how's the market for people in the real estate business, for people that are in the real estate business, well, one of the second most common question we get is, what's the interest rate? And that's a trick question because depending on your credit, depending on the type of loan that you're doing,
your down payment,
depending on your down payment.
If you're paying points for that rate, a lot of lenders will tell you, hey, I've got this great smoking rate, and then you realize you're paying thousands of dollars to buy that interest rate. So you need to look at the cost versus the rate, see where the most benefit is for you, and so on.
So get with someone with questions around what that might really mean for you, because we're going to segue that into, you know, whether we should buy right now, whether we should take action right now. And so why we started talking about interest rates is because while the values have been coming down, interest rates have been going up. You know, people have had apprehension, just overall anxiety about the market on whether they should do something right now. And while they've watched prices fall, interest rates going up is kind of offset each other in a way, right?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much when you look at how much people were having to overbid a year ago, I mean, they were paying anywhere from 10, 15, even 20% over ask. So when you look at that difference compared to now when interest rates are higher and people are getting homes for below asking, that number is evening out a lot more than people would think right now. And you're never going to find that perfect storm where rates are down and prices are down. It's gonna be one or the other. So in my opinion, it's better to get in when the market is not so hot and you don't have all the competition. You're not having to overpay. You're not having to waive your financing contingency, putting yourself at risk. It's a safer bet to get into a home at a good price. And improve your financing later.
And look, there's so many advantages right now with what's going on with the market. When, you know, Josh, I've been an investor, I've been in the business a long time, 2 different cities. I've seen more people lose money trying to time the market than just get in when it makes sense for you. So number one, do you plan on owning the property for at least, you know, I'd say 3 years, but 5 years, 3 to 5 years. If you don't plan on owning the property at least 5 years, then look, it's a good time to buy, because overall, you don't have to worry about what's going to happen within the next impending, you know, 12 or 24 months, where, you know, the volatility of the market, we're really not sure what's going on. So don't worry about it. You're getting a property on sale. You're getting concessions from the sellers to be able to keep more money in your pocket.
And or so to lower closing costs overall, or to buy your interest rate down temporarily to get you through this environment that we're in now, make it more affordable for you. Those are options.
Right, exactly. So on options, we had a conversation before the conversation on some of the things that you guys are doing as far as incentives and options to.
Well, one of the biggest tools we're seeing right now, a lot of sellers are willing to give concessions, meaning the seller's willing to give you back credit to cover your closing costs or to help you improve your financing. So a lot of people are taking advantage of what's called a temporary buy down, where you can buy your interest rate down to where it can be up to 2% lower than market rate for the first year of your loan. So let's use a 6.5%, for example. That first year, your payment's based on 4.5%, which is back down to levels that we got used to and we got comfortable with. The second year, typically that would be 1% lower, 5.5%. Then hopefully by the time that ends, we're coming to the point where we're coming out of a recession. Historically, history speaks for itself. If you look back on charts, interest rates always drop post-recession. They have every single time, and they'll continue to do so.
Yeah, I was reading recessions last historically around 11 months. I don't know if you heard that number.
Yes, yeah.
Historically, around 11 months. Back in 2008-9, we lasted longer than that, but historically around 11 months. And so we're already, if May was the peak of the market, June, July, August, September, I think we could, I don't know what your thoughts are as far as how much longer the storm's going to ride here. I mean, I think January, February, depending on, there's unknown economic factors as far as what could happen, but
it's hard to say. There's a lot of mixed data out there, and it seems to be changing every day. And we get what we get through the media and everything else, but I'm gauging spring to summer of next year, probably best case. And maybe
best
a little
case.
bit longer.
Best case. Which then is another indicator back into the direction of, look, if you're going to own the property long term, and you have, you can take advantage of the incentives either provided by the seller or wherever you can get the incentives from through to be able to take advantage of those and do that now, then go ahead and do that.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because when interest rates come back down, we're going to see that demand kick back in. Everyone's going to start getting back into the market to buy, and that's going to drive prices back up. Then you have a more affordable interest rate, but you're going to pay more for the home. So why not get in now, build that wealth, build that equity, improve your loan later down the road with a refinance? Then it's a win-win. You just gained, definitely gained a huge profit on a home in this market from what we've seen historically. And you're improving your payment later. So financing is temporary, and it's that whole phrase, marry the house, date the rate. You're falling in love with the home. You're not falling in love with the loan, because the loan's not forever.
You could refinance down the road.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
So I think a lot of it is worry and apprehension around what the market's doing and direction of the market, and when you try to get into that zone of rubbing the crystal ball to figure out what the market's going to do versus really looking at, does it make sense for you right now? What advantages are there for you right now? Then you can make that decision on whether it makes sense for you or not. And then talking to a professional who knows what they're talking about, who can consult you on the dynamics of the market and what that means for you to be able to negotiate a great deal and terms. I love that buying down the rate. And some people are talking about it. A lot of people are not talking about it. And when you can get in where the seller's contributing to buying down that rate, that puts you right back into the zone of where you originally wanted to be for interest rate. And so how can you get creative? What are the conversations that you're having to be able to take advantage of the market? Okay, what else should we be talking about?
And that's a big advantage as well, to talking to an experienced local loan officer who does have knowledge and is going to educate you and give you options, as opposed to you calling a lender that you saw in a commercial and they're just going to give you, this is your rate, this is your option. They're not going to explore what your finances are going to look like over time, what's going to work for you the best in the big picture. They're just looking for the wham bam, get you closed, here it is.
Or an order taker from an online ad, and you're another number in the system, and they're just trying to process you, versus looking at your creative options or providing creative consultation to be able to get you a great deal. Which is why, look, real estate is about relationships, whether you're on the lending side or the sales side. For me, helping buyers and sellers, and so. No amount of technology is ever going to erase that. Us. It's never going to erase it, right? But we use that to our advantage. But being able to be in a relationship and have that conversation with somebody who can really talk you through that for what's for most of us the most important, the biggest investment of a lot of people's lives. You want to have a conversation with somebody who's not just an hourly rate person who's putting you through putting you through some sort of system and actually cares about how to help you, consult you through that in the best way possible.
Exactly, and that's where you want to be with trusted advisors that you have a relationship with, and that relationship builds over time, transaction after transaction, and that's where it's important.
Yeah. Okay. What did when I not cover that we should have covered?
I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I think we both agree that now is a great time to buy, to be able to get in and get into a good home for a good price and not have to worry about overbidding or overpaying. Talk to a good loan officer that you trust that's going to go ahead and give you those good options. Connect with a great realtor like Paulie and his team.
I'm laughing because I think about when the market was high, people were complaining about dealing with multiple offers and having to give the house, conceding to every seller demand.
Yep.
And now people are complaining about, well, the interest rates are higher. Look, every market has its pros and cons.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of fear involved with purchasing a home in the transaction, so people tend to look for that scapegoat or that reason why not to buy.
Yeah.
But every day that you wait, it's going to cost you one way or another.
One way or another. So finishing it where we started, which is have that conversation with somebody who can help you figure it out, because everybody is personal. Every situation is a little bit different, and so there's no templated consultation. It's a personalized conversation to figure out where you're at, what makes sense for you, so that you can make an informed decision for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool, man.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for having me, and we look forward to helping more families and more people together.
All right, connect. I'll have our contact information below, and hey, stay tuned because we're going to continue to bring valuable information for you guys, whether you're buying or selling property in the greater Austin, Texas area. Vision Realty Group, your vision, our mission. Stay tuned.